very busy on the day she had asked, but then she had something going on Friday. And her Friday show would be wild. So I'm just like, I didn't know who she was when she started, when she friended me, I started looking up her stuff. Then I realized, oh yeah, she does have a YouTube channel. This is real. Like, she's not a fake person,
Right.
So I told her, I said, sure, I'll be on Friday. And she sent me the link. And we met finally, like, I guess, face to face virtually, and introduced me to whoever else was going to be on the panel. And then I went up, and ever since then, I was just like, oh, okay, this is fun. But she's also, like a vibe, because I said, I don't like the negative people who are always like bashing and talking about all this crazy stuff on YouTube. That's not my personality, but she was just so great. And I was like, oh, this is nice. This is really fun. Yeah. And that's how I started doing it. I had never been on a panel before.
Is her panel the only one that you've been on?
Well, I've been on hers when I first started this whole panel talk. I've been on hers, and then also M3's, the knowledge and relationships.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they had a panel before. I mean, we've done like a one-on-one interview, and I want to say they had a panel that I was on. If I'm not, I'm sorry. But mostly on Miss Ty's panel. Yeah.
Yeah. I ran into her, because I was following this guy, Carrot Juice Podcast, and she was in one of his live videos, and people were throwing up their channels. So I started following her and, ventured over to hers and watched a couple of them, chimed in here and there. And then she invited me, and that was the start of my panel life.
Right? She's just opening doors.
Yeah, I enjoy her panels more than anybody else's. No shots to anybody else.
Right. No, of course.
It's just the whole vibe, and she's she's fucking hilarious.
She really is. No, I agree. And even the people on there, like, because you and I have been on there before, like, we all just mesh very well. Yeah. And you can have your differences in opinion. That's not a problem. But I feel like our personalities really mesh. And again, no shade to anybody out there, but there's just a lot more serious panels out there that I'm like, I don't think I'll do very well here, because this is just not who I am. Let's see. Oh, and I've also been on AR's panel. I think he did like one or two that I was on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But still, like, I really do enjoy Miss Ty, but also like off, behind the scenes, Miss Ty and I are close.
Right.
We do talk, we communicate, we make sure we're good. So it's like, it's real sisterhood.
Right.
Although we met online and we're long distance, but like always, hey, how are you? How's Caleb? How's OG Dad? Everything's good. How's the situation out there? Because there's so much going on. So we always do check up on each other. And I do value that. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I can appreciate about the panels, especially hers, because of her panel, I've been able to interact with a different crowd. I honestly had no idea that these panel style podcasts were out there until I ran into her. And I honestly did not know that there were so many people that look like us doing so many podcasts. I had no clue until I came across her, and I was like, wow, this is a whole movement out there. Yeah.
Right. You would be surprised, all the podcasts that have been thrown at me. Like, I've been watching, like, even when you look up on YouTube, unless you're following all these people, these are not like the podcasts that are coming up.
Right.
You get a whole bunch of other stuff, and you're like, well, I don't know.
They don't look like me. I don't identify with that.
You definitely didn't live my life.
Exactly. But you talk about my life, but nah.
Nah, you never been through it.
Not at all. You watch too many movies on TV. Stop watching New Jack City and talk to me.
Right. Oh, I love that, because that is so true.
And it'd be mind blowing.
Oof, I agree.
Yeah. So with that being said, how do you determine your topics?
Sometimes I'm inspired by, sometimes I already have a list of things I want to talk about, that I've thought of, and I'm like, I want to talk about this. Sometimes I'm just inspired going to work. I'm like, yeah, I got to talk about this because this is crazy. Or even if it's sometimes I even think of like jokes, because I do pretend that one day I'm going to do like a stand-up, and I do write jokes and stuff. So like, even when I'm writing certain topics or certain jokes down, I'm like, oh, you know what? This can be a topic, because although it's funny, it has some type of seriousness to it, and I can kind of mix the both, because that's just what I do. So, and there's times where I'm just like, I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk about this week. Like, what is left to talk about? So sometimes it is difficult to try to figure out what a topic is going to be without sounding repetitive.
Yeah. And that's the one thing, because, you know, when I see these relationship topics come up, I'll be like, I do. Like, we've done some, but we don't, like, a lot of them I don't relate to, because I don't look that deep into them, and I don't live by those standards, and it's crazy.
No, I get it. But that's why Ms. Ty is very easy for me to do relationship talks, because we do talk about like being a wife, or being in a relationship, you know, like with a fiance, or courting and stuff like that. And those are conversations that I had to, like, a lot of those things I had to learn on my own. So having a conversation with like women who've gone through that same situation, I enjoy that. But then when you come into like, you know, red pills, blue pills, there's a gray pill, there's an alpha, there's a simp, I don't know about none of that. I know an alpha is the leader of a wolf pack, and I'm not a wolf. I don't know.
Look, in these podcast streets, I knew what an alpha was. Then the beta came, and then it was another kind, and I'm like, what the hell?
I'm like, yo, what is going on? This is like freaking Judge Dredd right now. Beta, these are computer terms. What are we talking about?
Like, come on now. It's too much.
It's too much for me. It's too much. Like all these double meanings with the words. Nah.
Yeah.
It's all right. So, alpha made.
Look, it's either you're a decent man or you're not.
It's same with women. Either you're, you know, a decent female, or you're not. Whatever you choose. Listen, I'm not going to judge you. You do whatever you want.
Look, it's not my business. What you eat ain't going to make me shit. I promise I'll be constipated on that right there.
Right. Yes.
Good. So are there any topics that you would absolutely stay away from?
That I would absolutely stay away from. Let's see. Well, I don't do. This is interesting. Is there any topic like if we're bashing people? I'm not for that. So if it's a topic where we're bashing anybody, I'm just not about that life. There's no reason for me to bash. I mean, I don't pay their bills. They don't pay my bills. Right. It's just, you know, it doesn't make any sense to me. Let's see. What else would I stay away from? I really like to talk about pretty much everything, as long as I am not offending anybody, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Because it's not my personality. So I don't really stay away from anything. I can do anything from like talking about like, you know, kids growing up and stuff, to like sex, to like, you know, I just talk about everything. It really doesn't bother me unless we're like trying to offend people. Then I'm just like, I'm not for that. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. When we first started, I was open to everything, but now that we've gone on, the three things that I will not have deep discussions about is politics, religion, and Black issues.
Yeah, those all call for fights.
You know, for me, I don't want to talk about those deeply. I'll talk about them surface or in a fun manner. I don't want to talk on them deeply, because I've found that a lot of people out there, they either have no idea what they're talking about, they're speaking on other talking points, or they're too ingrained in a certain space and they're unreasonable to have a conversation with. And it's like you're trying to have an adult or open dialogue with someone who's so hardline on something, and it's like they're so hardline that they think all of this other stuff does not factor into the conversation overall.
Yeah. It's like,